today, let's come back to our topic today. For those of you online, hello, hello. Good evening, good evening. For those of you on Facebook, good to see you. And of course, for all of you here, right? Um, Mona, May, Rosaline, hello, hello. Yes, good to see all of you. So let's get started. Today, we're going to talk about the pathway to a healthier me. So what is health? Let's try to define health first. This is WHO, World Health Organization, states that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. So it's not just merely that, I don't have diabetes means I'm healthy, or I don't have hypertension means I'm healthy. No, we have to look at these three important aspects. And there's the word complete as well. So let's look at them one by one. Number one is physical health. So physical health is the ability to maintain a healthy quality of life that allow us to get most out of our daily activities without undue fatigue or physical stress. Meaning, every day when we wake up, if we need to go and do our house chore, for example, we need to go out, meet our friends, do our work, and come back, we can have good quality of life. Our movement is not impaired. We can do all that without too much of the fatigue or stress. Meaning we need to have a minimal physical ability in order to do that, right? So that's physical well-being. How about mental? Mental well-being is for individuals to realize our own potential. We can cope with the normal stresses of life, okay? So WHO is very realistic. It's not going to say that mental fitness means you don't have stress. Not possible, right? So it's just we can cope with the normal stresses of our life. We can work productively and fruitfully. And we're able to make a contribution to the community. Right? So mentally, our mind is sound. We can do our day-to-day life without feeling too much of a stress, right? And the third one, the interesting one, is actually social well-being. So social well-being is what? Is to the extent in which an individual feel a sense of belonging and social inclusion, right? So that we don't feel that we are an island. No man is an island. So we feel that, you're part of a community, you have friends, you have family, you have a support network that can support you on your stress, maybe on your worries. If you have issues, you can discuss with people and you experience positive interaction with others, right? So this is how social well-being is being defined, right? You have a support system, basically, we can say that. So let's think about ourselves, right? I think the last few years we really see, or I really see in some of my clients, the health deteriorate a lot, especially for the elderly, especially the social well-being. Their physical and their mental well-being actually deteriorated because the lack of social interaction. Right? So it's important, especially as we age, to maintain good social interaction with our community, with our friends. We want to have that overall health. So three things about overall health: physical, mental, and social. Then this is our Singapore numbers, right? On average, actually, Singapore's life expectation is already up to 85. 85 is the average, meaning half the people or some people will live beyond 85, some less, of course, right? But 85 is the average. However, health span is only to about 74. So what does that mean, right? That means that the last 10 years of most Singaporeans' life, they have to live with one or more chronic disease. It could be any of the three highs. It could be heart disease. It could be cancer. It could even be dementia, for example, right? And any of this. So it's actually the marginal years. This is actually the marginal years, or the very frail or very fragile 10 years that many people will suffer either physically or mentally, right? Not able to live to the fullest potential. Okay, so if you read the book outlive, or if you follow this Dr. Peter Attia, he actually categorized the most common thing that caused our lifespan or health span to go down as these four horsemen. These four horsemen of chronic disease are responsible for many of these issues. Number one, cardiovascular disease. So worldwide, right, there are about 16, 18 million people die of cardiovascular disease every year. That is 3 Singapore population. And cancer is the second one, which about 12 million people die of cancer every year. Neurodegenerative disease is getting more and more prevalent, especially we hear more and more people talk about dementia, people talk about Parkinson. These are the top two neurodegenerative disease. And to accompany all that is actually the metabolic issue or the metabolic impairment, meaning the metabolism of this person is not 100%. So this usually comes in obesity, central obesity, for example, three highs: cholesterol, hypertension, blood sugar, and all this. And if you have more than one of these horsemen, for example, cardiovascular disease plus metabolic, or degenerative neurodegeneration plus metabolic, it's not a 1 plus 1 equals to 2. It's 1 to the power of 2, 1 to the power of many. And when they come together, when they join forces, they have more than 1 plus 1 equals to 2. They actually it's like putting oil on fire when you have one after another, right? So it got very much worse. So if you look at modern medical science, there are already many steps or many procedures being used, for example, to help with cardiovascular disease. Right? For people with hypertension, for people with heart disease, there are many medications, operations, etc. to counter that. Cancer, we can't say that we have a similar thing. There are treatment for cancer, but so far I think it's not as successful as cardiovascular disease. How about neurodegenerative disease? Anything to do with the brain? The best thing to do, the best treatment is actually prevention, right? At least so far, the science shows that if you cross that line of going into, for example, Parkinson, dementia, basically, I have not read anything that can really reverse the situation or can even cure the situation. So the best thing is still prevention, right? And metabolic syndrome. But what actually causes all this, right? If you really read the literature, is chronic inflammation. Is this systemic inflammation in the body? Our body keep having small fire everywhere that start to have this issue, start to cause all this issue. So let's look at them. Okay, so currently medical science is like this. We know that our health span start with 100% there, and then it will go down slowly. Yes, 失智症，对，Yeah, neurodegeneration 就是失智症，没错，对的，妹妹。So it will go down like this, right? Right now, what the modern medical science is trying to do is this red circle here, trying to prolong the lifespan, but it doesn't quite help with the health span. So you can see a lot of elderly, they are either bedridden, they can be bedridden for a good 5 years, for a good 10 years, or they might be losing their mind, but they are still living, right? It's still they still have the lifespan, but we cannot say the same for health span. So here in LiCo Wellness, what we try to advocate is really to extend our health span as much as we can, prolong our health span as much as we can. We are trying to square that drop, trying to square it as much as we can, keep our health span at a high level as long as we can, and hopefully it's a quick dead, drop dead at a very old age, right? And not having to suffer a lot of deteriorations when we start to lose our physical ability or we start to lose our mind, right? So how do we do that? Right? How do we do that? So when we want to look at the four horsemen, let's look at them one by one. We want to counter that, right? That's so that we can expand our health span. So let's look at this. Cardiovascular disease. Cardiovascular disease is heart attack, stroke, for example. And 50% of the time, the first sign of heart attack or the first symptom of heart attack is a heart attack. right? It's a silent killer that it almost has got no symptom at all. I'm sure you have heard of, news or people, hopefully not too close with you, that would just had a heart attack or stroke and then they just drop dead, just like that, regardless of age. It could be 40, 50, 60, right? And what are the risk factor? We know is unhealthy diet, is lack of physical activity, is smoking, is alcohol. Okay, all this has got a adverse effect on our cardiovascular health. Let's look at the next one, cancer. I think for cancer, we have less direct relationship, like what causes cancer, right? If you can, I think we can avoid many, many things already. Two things that we know that is linked to cancer for sure is smoking. This one don't have to argue, right? It's already proven plus chop. The other one is really obesity, because we know that our adipose tissue, when we are obese, the fat cells is not just occupying the place that we don't want it to be, but it's also producing a lot of inflammatory factors, right? It causes inflammations all over our body, and from there, it will cause oxidation and it will lead to mutations of cells. There are two types of cells that can get mutated. One is our normal cells, for example, the breast, the kidney, the prostate, the cells that they are supposed to do proper things, they actually mutate to turn bad. There is also another type of cells that get mutated. These are our immunity cells. If our immunity cells are not able to detect cancer cells and fight with them and kill them, they just lose that ability to defend our body. That is a kind of mutation as well. All right. So cancer is also something that we try not to go there as much as we can. We try to prevent. Number three, neurodegenerative disease. So this is a bit more challenging. For example, old age. Old age is one big risk factor. Um, Family history is another one, right? Of course, physical inactivity, social isolation, etc., etc. The good thing about neurodegenerative that we can prevent is, as long as we do things that are good for the heart, so far research shows that it's also good for the brain. Okay, so take good care of your heart, exercise, eat well, sleep well, de-stress, have a good social network. That all helps with our brain health as well. Okay, Ken? And then the last one is the metabolic syndrome. It's the chronic inflammation that we are trying to address, right? And unfortunately for this, right, current medical science, we don't really see a lot of doctors treating inflammation, right? If insulin is high, then metformin will be prescribed. Hypertension, for example, high cholesterol, statin will be prescribed. It's just trying to bring down or reduce the symptoms or to mask the symptom rather than to treat the actual what is happening in the body, which is chronic inflammation. So what can help with bring down inflammation? All the fire that we have in our body, what can we do, right? To bring down inflammation. I think this is the important thing, and this is the most fundamental things that we can do. Because I think many of us here, like 20 of us in our webinar, you might not have a cardiovascular disease, we don't have any of this, but inflammation, I cannot say that we all don't have it. In fact, I'm sure we all have it. It's just the degree of the inflammation in our body, right? So how do we deal with that? We want to prevent, as for the younger age, you want to prevent that from happening. We want to maintain our health as we age, and we want to mitigate any decline, especially for ladies after menopause. We know that after 50, after menopause, cholesterol will shoot up, blood sugar will shoot up, body weight, especially the waistline, is going to go up as well. So how do we mitigate that problem, right? How do we make sure that it doesn't drop to a certain point that give us problem? Okay, so this is something very important. And of course, physical activity is very important as well. It's interesting, I've got clients who tell me that, Ginny, I'm working now, I have no time to exercise. Wait, when I retire, I will go and walk 3 times a week. I'll go and hike, once a week. But what gives you the confidence that when you retire, you still have that ability to do that? Right? You're not losing too much of your bone mass or even, losing too much of your muscle mass that you can do all this. at the later age? What gives you that confidence? Why not start today? Because today is the youngest day for the rest of your life, correct? Okay, so if you're still with me, you can put an emoji, you can say hi. I hope that you're still with me, right? Okay, then we move on. All right, I got heart. Yes. Okay. Hi, Lowe's. Hello. Right. So that as well. Okay. Yes. If you don't lose it, you lose. If you don't use it, you lose it. It's really true, and we've seen so many. There's also a very interesting research that's very nicely, very elegantly done. It's just a young guy. So the researchers put these young people in a cast for one of the legs. So for example, right leg can still move, but left leg put in a cast. Just in a few weeks' time, you can see that the muscle on the left leg is already decreasing. Although the person is the same person, right? Eating the same thing, ma. So, for example, eating that egg, the egg should go to the both of the legs, right? Left and right. But just because not moving is on cast, right? We are losing, the person is losing that muscle. So it's very, very important, right? And you can't really we might not notice it actually, right? But it is happening. Mhm. So this latest research in microbiome science is pointing to us to look at our gut health as one of the reasons that can cause inflammation in our body, right? So we know that there are a lot of bacteria living with us. We are like, just like many animals, there are bacteria living with us. And 90% of the bacteria, virus, fungi is actually in our gut, which is our large intestine. Right? There are millions of them. We have more gut bacteria than the number of our cells. So if they are not living properly, if there's dysbiosis, meaning our gut bacteria is not in sync, is not working at its optimal, it can cause not just diarrhea, constipation, it can also cause liver disease because there's a hepatic vein directly linking our gut to our liver, right, for detox purposes. It has been linked to obesity and diabetes because of the byproducts of this gut bacteria that's causing inflammation in the body. Research shows that it could cause cardiovascular disease, cancer, and a lot more. So how to maintain a good gut microbiome is really to have good nutrition and also to take in probiotic on a day-to-day basis. So if I talk to for example, Japanese friends, they say they take miso on a regular basis. Korean friends will take kimchi. Some of the Angmo friends, they take sauerkraut, they take sourdough. Malay friends who have tempeh, and Indian friends usually they make their own used ghee or they make their own yogurt. How about Chinese friends? I think many of us here, in the webinar here are Chinese. What kind of probiotic do you take on a regular basis? Anyone? Right? Usually when I ask this in a corporate workshop, I get a brand name. Okay, I get a brand name that yes, it has got some probiotic, but mostly sugar, color, and flavor. Right? So try to get more good probiotic food into our body. That's why last week we had a seminar, we had a workshop, we teach how to do kombucha and water kefir. These are the good probiotic that we can breed and we can take in. Can have more yogurt, Greek yogurt would be good, and all the fermented food, right? Try to increase that in our diet. But of course, the microbiome needs their food as well. So that is the fiber. Make sure that we also have sufficient fiber in our diet and a variety of fruits and vegetables, right? So that would help with the microbiome. So what are the things that we do to actually destroy the probiotic or the good bacteria in our gut? Number one is really the lack of diversity in our diet, right? A lot of people don't really eat many different types of food. If my food always consists of pizza and burger, I will only be feeding the bacteria that feed on fat and carbohydrate, right? The bacteria that need, how about the gut bacteria that love to eat brinjal, love to eat ladies' fingers? I don't have that, right? Over time, they will die off and I don't get them. And of course, my diet is still lack of probiotic, right? Then it's not replenishing. Lack of regular physical exercise will affect the gut health. Drinking too much alcohol, smoking, of course, will destroy the gut health as well. Antibiotic use. Any one of you ever have a bacterial infection and then take a whole course of antibiotic? How do you feel after taking the course of antibiotic? Do you feel like, wow, you have a lot of appetite, The best meal lay in front of you, you can just fall up, you can just eat. No, right? Many of us know that our appetite will be affected. Usually we feel very weak, we don't have appetite, and that is because the antibiotic will actually also kill the good and bad bacteria, fungi, and all that in our gut as well. Right? So after a course of antibiotic, especially if you have kids, at home, make sure that you replenish them with probiotic. Replenish back the good bacteria so that they can have better digestions, better appetite. Not enough sleep will affect as well. Interestingly, stress also affect our gut microbiome. Why? Very simple, right? If you need to do a presentation to the board at 3 o'clock tomorrow, I give you your favorite food at 1 o'clock for lunch. Will you have the appetite to take it? Most of the people will say that no, cannot, because you have butterfly in the stomach, you feel like running to the toilet. Stress can affect our gut microbiome as well. And when our gut microbiome is not in sync, it can release a lot of inflammatory factor. The gut bacteria can go out of the gut and causing a lot of havoc in our body, right? So it's important to take care of our gut health. It's important to take care of our overall health. Okay, and how do we do that? So what is it that currently is trending? So we know that one of the issues that cause all these four horsemen to come to us is obesity, is weight management, is obesity. And in Singapore, about 50% of Singapore people are actually overweight, either overweight or obese. So what is trending? What is the most popular thing right now is actually this one, right? The diabetic drugs. You might have heard of this. This is Ozempic. It's one of the most expensive diabetic drugs, but it is used by a lot of the non-diabetic. They just want to use it to artificially increase the GLP-1, which help with metabolism, basically. It increases metabolism. It can help us to burn fats faster. It helps to suppress our appetite as well. This GLP-1 actually can produce from our gut, can be produced by our gut if we have the right microbiome. But instead of fixing the microbiome, many people will just go pay for it, $200-300 per dose of Ozempic on a weekly basis, $200-300 to try to bring down the body weight. But there's a risk of gastrointestinal problem. There's also a rebound effect once we stop that, right? And the latest in the microbiome science is actually researching into the specific strands of microbiota, which can help to stimulate the production of GLP, right? One of them is called Akkermansia, right? This is a specific probiotic, a specific bacteria that can help in the whole pathway of producing GLP, bring up our metabolism, and bring down our weight, right? So this is something that is ongoing. And this is our approach as well. For LiCo, we use Neutralite. We adopt Neutralite solution, right? We use the skinny microbiome and turn on fat metabolism and to off the factory for fat storage, right? So we'll be talking more about this in the next few months because the next product that's going to come out in the market is this skinny probiotic, right? This probiotic that backed by 9 years of research, scientifically proven to help to reduce not just body fats, but also belly fats. Okay, so for those who have been struggling with managing their weight, already changed their diet, but still find, the tummy is still there, they're still not able to bring down the body fats, this is the new solution. But where do we start, right? Having said all that, we want to minimize or we want to stay away from the four horsemen, this is what we can do, right? Join us in LiCo Wellness. This is what we're going to give you a LiCo Health and Wellness evaluation. So there are four areas in our evaluation. Number one, we'll be going through the health screening blood test analysis. We'll go through your health screening blood test and we look at the trend. We will try to look at identify if there's any issues that we want to address before it turned red. I think right now, like what we say just now, current medical science, doctor look at your blood report and just say that, okay, everything is in black, yeah, okay, off you go. Until something is in red, then we'll start to do something about it. But we don't want to wait till that to happen. We want to stop. We want to try to spot any trend that is going not our direction, which is going, for example, your cholesterol might be going from normal to starting to go up and up, in the last 2 3 years. We want to catch that and want to address it immediately. Secondly is our in-body body composition analysis. So for the in-body body composition, I'll share with you what it is later, and then we'll do a fitness evaluation and a health and wellness questionnaire. So hopefully this comprehensive evaluation will give you a better understanding of where you are now, right? And we know the roadmap forward. What are we going to do going forward? All right, so this is the in-body body composition. We have this machine at our shop at Apura Mall. So just make an appointment with us. We can meet at Apura Mall and we can do this analysis, right? This is a free assessment. It only takes you about 5 to 10 minutes to do this. Yeah, and from there you can see a few important analysis. Number one is obesity analysis. We know that obesity is one of the major risk factor for the four horsemen, correct? So we want to know where is your body fat percentage. First of all, we start with BMI, body mass index. We want to stay at the low risk level, which is below 23 for Asian, you and me. All right. So this is one. Number two, we also want to look at our body fat. We don't want to be over fat, right? Of course, we don't want to be obese as well. So just by doing that on a machine, it'll be able to tell us our body fat percentage. This is for female and this is for male. And you can set the target where you want to be and work from there. All right. The next one is the lean muscle analysis. So lack of physical activity is another risk factor for the four horsemen to come to us. That's why in our community, we run weekly exercise at least 3 times a week. We do walks once a month, etc. We try to nudge everybody, to stay active so that we can maintain our muscle mass and we can stay away from the four horsemen as well. So this lean analysis will actually tell you where are your muscles. Is it more concentrated on the upper body, your arms, your trunk, or the legs? Right? So very commonly, we see most of the ladies, they have more of their muscles at the lower limbs, means walk a bit more than doing upper body exercise. So when we know where the shortage is, we can work on it. We know where to work on. Okay, all right, so let's move on. And it will tell us our visceral fat as well. Visceral fat is another measurement that gives us a proximity, give us some indication whether there is any metabolic syndrome, right? If the visceral fat is above 100%, which is above this line, is more likely the risk of cardiovascular disease, risk of hypertension, cholesterol, and high blood sugar, right? So visceral fats is actually the fats on our tummy, right here. It's in between our organs actually, okay? And it gives us the negative effect on our health. So this is what the machine can tell us. It will tell us our fat analysis as well. Where are your fats where are your fats distributed? Okay, so when we know that, we also know the strategy. What do we need to do to make sure that, to bring down the body fats, for example. All right, okay, and then from there, you can set a better goals on how to improve your body composition. Some people will need to lose weight. Some people, their weight could be okay, just need to lose some body fats, or some even need to build up muscles to gain muscle mass, right? So any of this with the composition is very easy to get the baseline. We know where to work on, and over time, every 3 months, you can come back to do the measurement again to see the difference. Okay, then the next one is our holistic health and wellness questionnaire. So why do we want to have this questionnaire? Because the blood test report only tell you certain things. A lot of people whom I met, blood test report, everything is okay, they tell me. But when I ask them, when I talk to them, they tell me that they're not okay. They're having headache a lot of time. They feel very tired. They don't sleep well, for example. All these are not reflected in the blood test report. So to have a more holistic assessment of your health, we need to go through this questionnaire. It's developed by our in-house Dr. Sham, right? And adopted from WHO questionnaire actually. So it's from World Health Organizations, and it actually look at the health aspects from this all this area. For example, immunity, we'll be asking you about your immunity, about your digestive health, because that is important, whether you're able to digest and absorb the nutrients, physical activity, stress management, energy level, like what we say, do you feel tired, on a day-to-day basis, or you feel very good, very alert, sleep quality, and overall appearance, right? So these are all the areas that the questionnaire will cover. And with that, we will have some scores to tell us where we stand now. Okay. And last but not least is the fitness evaluation. Why is it important? We want to maintain our physical health, right? So it is very important. So it covers 4 aspects. One, cardiovascular endurance. How good is our heart? Cardiovascular, right? Muscular strength, muscular endurance, and flexibility. These are the 4 important components or areas of health, that physical health, that we want to look at. Right? So it's just a questionnaire like this that we will go through and do the test together. And one of the example, for example, is this back stretch. So you want to bring your arms up to the back, and then at the back, you want to try to touch, right? You want to try to touch your back. So for example, if all your fingers can come together, people, can even go all the way to touch the wrist itself. Some just this way, can't even quite touch. So that shows the flexibility of our back, of our shoulder. Why is it important? Because shoulder injury is one of the most common one. I'm sure you have heard of your friends do that before, right? Stretch, or, just move the wrong way and they hurt their shoulder. And if the shoulder is hurt, there's an injury, the person will be out of action for many, many months. So to do that is just to know where we stand now, to prevent ourselves from getting injured, so that we can continue to exercise, we can continue to move, we don't lose that mobility, that physical fitness. All right. So having said that, let me know, book your complimentary health and wellness assessment today. Okay, we will cover these 4 things. Look at your blood test report, do the in-body, do the fitness evaluation, and then go through the questionnaire. This will take approximately an hour plus, will help you much better understanding your condition now, your health and wellness condition now. And from there, you can set your goals, we can decide on what to do next. Okay, so today is just a preview on all these things that we can do to understand our baseline. If you want to understand more, if you want to learn more about microbiome science, I invite you to join me for this training on the 17th of August. So 17th of August, 9:30 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. We are having this training to explore the latest microbiome science. I hope the scientists themselves will be coming over to share with us on what is the latest. How does Akkermansia actually help? This specific microbiome, how does it help with our metabolic syndrome? How does it bring down our blood sugar, help to bring up our metabolic rate, bring down our weight? Right? We'll be talking about the healthy weight solution. So healthy weight solution doesn't just mean for people who lose weight. For people who want to gain muscle mass, to gain weight, you can learn from there as well. And of course, we're going to explore the wellness industry as a business. So, for example, some of you, I have been asking, anyone, because we are looking for good people to work with us on a part-time basis to grow this wellness business as well. Like as it is, we do have many invitation to go to different company, to give talks, to run events and all that. We do need good people to work together. So if you're interested to explore this industry, please come invest half a day here to learn together. All right. So let me know if you like to learn, if you like to attend. And some might ask me, how much is it? How to qualify to attend? Basically, to attend, you just need to get this protein set. This is our gut morning set, consists of protein, probiotic, and fiber. So just these three things, it will replace one of your meal, hopefully breakfast, which is the most important meal of the day, right, for 1 month. And just getting this set, you'll be able to get a gift, a phyto drink worth $59, and you can also attend this training for free, right? Come and learn with us so that we can explore this wonderful wellness industry together. All right. Okay, so that is all that I have for today, actually. Okay, pathway to a healthier me. So I urge you to do a few things. Number one, of course, to really take good care of our health, physical, mental, and social, so that the four horsemen doesn't come after us. Remember who are the four? Cardiovascular disease, cancer, neuro, which is disease of our brain, and metabolic syndrome, right? So to avoid all that, so that we can prolong our health span and not just our lifespan, right? So if you can, strongly encourage you to join us, okay, for the training on the 17th of August together. Right, just let me know. I'm going to stop share here. Just let me know if you like to attend, right? We'll arrange for you and help you to register. Is it